Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was an Indian lawyer, anti-colonial nationalist, and political atheist who employed non-violent resistance to lead the successful campaign for India's independence from British rule. He inspired movements for civil rights and freedom across the world. The honorific Mahatma Gandhi was also known as the Great Soul, first applied to him in South Africa in 1914, is now used throughout the world. Born and raised in a Hindu family in coastal Gujarat, Gandhi trained in the law at the Inner Temple, London, and was called to the bar at age 22 in June 1891. After 2 certain years in India, where he was unable to start a successful law practice, he moved to South Africa in 1893 to represent an Indian merchant in a lawsuit. He went on to live in South Africa for 21 years. It was here that Gandhi raised a family and first employed non-violent resistance in a campaign for civil rights. In 1950, aged 45, he returned to India and soon set about organizing peasants, farmers, and urban laborers to protest against excessive land tax and discrimination. Assuming leadership of the Indian National Congress in 1921, Gandhi led national worldwide campaigns for easing poverty, expanding women's rights, building religions, ending untouchability, and above all, achieving Swaraj or self-rule. Gandhi adopted the short dhoti woven with handspun yarn as a mark of identification with Indians' rural poverty. He began to live in a self-sufficient residential community to eat simple food and undertake long fasts as a means of both introspection and political protest, bringing anti-colonial nationalism to the common Indians. Gandhi led them in challenging the British-imposed salt tax with the 400-kilometer Dandi Salt March in 1930 and in calling for the British to quit India in 1942. He was imprisoned many times and for many years in both South Africa and India. Gandhi's vision of an independent India based on religious plagiarism was challenged in the early 1940s by a Muslim nationalism which demanded a separate homeland for Muslims within British India. In August 1947, Britain granted independence, but the British Indian Empire was partitioned into 2 dominions, a Hindu-majority India and a Muslim-majority Pakistan. As many displaced Hindus, Muslims, and Sikhs made their way to their new lands, religious violence broke out, especially in Punjab and Bengal. Abstaining from the official celebration of independence, Gandhi visited the affected areas, attempting to alleviate distress. In the months of the following, he undertook several hunger strikes to stop the religious violence. The last of these was begun in Delhi on 12th January 1948, when he was 78. The belief that Gandhi had been too resolute in his defense of both Pakistan and Indian Muslims spread among some Hindus in India. Among these was Nathuram Godse, a militant Hindu nationalist from Pune, Western India, who assassinated Gandhi by firing 3 bullets into his chest at an interfaith prayer meeting in Delhi on 30th January 1948. Gandhi's birthday, 2nd October, is commemorated in India as Gandhi Jayanti, a national holiday, and worldwide as an International Day of Non-Violence. Gandhi is considered to be the father of the nation in post-colonial India. During India's nationalist movement, In several decades immediately after, he was also commonly called Bapu, a word which is termed for father, roughly papa or daddy. Gandhism is a body of ideas that describes the inspiration, vision, and the life of the work of Mohandas Gandhi. It is particularly associated with his contributions to the idea of non-violent resistance, sometimes also called civil resistance. The term Gandhism also encompasses what Gandhi's ideas, words, and actions mean to people around the world, and how they use them for the guidance in building their own future. A Gandhian can mean either an individual who follows or a specific philosophy which is attributed to Gandhism. However, Gandhi did not approve of the term Gandhism. As he explained, there is no such thing as Gandhism, and I do not want to leave any sector after me. I do not claim to have oriented any new principle or doctrine. I have simply tried it in my own way to apply the eternal truths to our daily life and problems. The opinions I have formed and the conclusions I have arrived are at non-final. I may change them tomorrow. I have nothing new to teach the world. Truth and non-violence are as old as the hills. The Salt March, also known as the Salt Satyagraha, Dandi March and the Dandi Satyagraha, was an act of non-violent civil disobedience in colonial India, led by Mahatma Gandhi. The 24-day march lasted from 12th March to 5th April 1930 as a direct action campaign of tax resistance and non-violent protest against the British salt monopoly. Gandhi started this march with 78 of his trusted volunteers. The march spanned 387 kilometers. Growing numbers of Indians joined them along the way. When Gandhi broke the British Raj salt laws at 8:30 am on 6th April 1930, it sparked large-scale acts of civil disobedience against the salt laws by millions of Indians. The Congress Party planned to stage a satyagraha at the Dharasana Salt Works 40 kilometers south of Dandi. However, Gandhi was arrested on the midnight of the 4th-5th May 1930, just days before the planned action at Dharasana. The Dandi March and the ensuing Dharasana Satyagraha drew worldwide attention to the Indian independence movement through extensive newspaper and newsreels coverage. The Satyagraha against the salt tax continued for almost an year, ending with Gandhi's release from jail and negotiations with Viceroy Lord Irwin. At the second Roundtable Conference, although over 60,000 Indians were jailed as a result of salt satyagraha, the British did not make immediate major concessions. The satyagraha teachings of Gandhi and the march to Dandi had a significant influence on American activists. Martin Luther King Jr., James Bevel, and others during the civil rights movement for civil rights of African Americans and other minority groups in the 1960s. The march was the most significant organized challenge to British authority since the non-cooperation movement of 1920-1922 and directly followed the Purna Swaraj Declaration and self-rule by the Indian National Congress on 26 January 1930 by celebrating Independence Day. It gained worldwide attention, which gave importance to the Indian independence movement and started the worldwide civil disobedience movement, which continued until 1934 in Gujarat. Mahatma Gandhi's contribution to the Indian freedom struggle was immense. His philosophy of non-violence and civil disobedience and his leadership united the Indian masses and forced the British to confront the demands of the Indian people.